to see you.
I'm just wondering if you can hear me in my earphones or
I hear you so loud and clear.
loud and clear. Okay,
Yeah,
I don't think I need this. I think I'm just natural.
you are natural. How about me? Can you hear me and
Yeah,
see me? Yeah.
I can hear you. I can see you. You're in a beautiful location.
Yeah, so this is my home.
Oh, wow. It's like a screened-in jungle.
It really is.
Um, it's amazing, Naomi. Wow.
And of course, as all things perfection, we got Starlink last night. So we've not had Wi-Fi. We've just had like a cellular like data that we've been using. And we're like beaming in from space this morning. So it's pretty amazing to not have this be disconnected and
Yeah.
fragmented. It's like we
Yeah.
are on.
We are on. Oh my gosh. Oh my
and
gosh.
and not separate from this conversation. Like that's what I realized, for the connection to be coming in so strong on the eve of this conversation. I'm like, whoo, I have goosebumps.
I'm so happy that you accepted the invitation to chat about this, Naomi. Every time that we get together and get to show up, in that juicy moment, I just become so much more. And I remember myself even more. So thank you for saying yes, for jumping in.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for always and opening this space up beyond just yourself to really explore something that's new. And perhaps, I'm coming into this really surrendering what I think I know. I'm coming in with a great curiosity and a courage to remain open in what I feel like is something that doesn't yet exist fully.
Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
What has been stirring for me lately is this redefinition of myself as mother. And I find that it is very deep and very multi-layered, and going somewhere I've never been before, going somewhere I don't have a lot of points of reference for. Yet it feels like very much a deepening of incarnation, of purpose, and of life unfolding in an even more meaningful way, if that's possible. and I know that I have a little heart on my desk right now. I know you have children that are similar age as mine, and I know that plays into this shift that's happening, because watching them emerge and unfold and becoming more and more who they are has been such a brilliant learning experience and an expanding experience, as I always look at them as my teachers, as an expression of my unfolding as well. And they are in a place where I wasn't when I was their age. And I started working at the university again this year, and I was so compelled to do that, but I didn't understand logically why. And now I'm starting to see that I'm learning so much from that generation, about what about who they are, and perhaps my small role into supporting, creating this new world that has no blueprint. that hasn't been mapped out yet or traced
Mm.
yet. And so as I was sitting with that the other day, with my son and in conversation with him, and really knowing that he doesn't need what I needed at that age. He doesn't have to uncloak and take away so many layers of protection, not as much as I, as I did, and a lot of the women my age had to get to where we are. And so, but this incredible openness, this vulnerability, oh, they feel so intensely. They are, but not a lot of reference point around them, or to know how to take action from that beautiful place of sensitivity to everything, every moment of the day. Yet the most powerful tool that they have moving forward. Yeah. So that's kind of where I was at a few weeks ago when I reached out to you. Because I know that the way that you have been with your children is very embodied, very present, very, very present. And it's not typical either. You had to kind of forge your own way that was very much intuitive, to provide an environment that was supportive of their unfolding. And so I was curious to start, like, what have you noticed? And what do you see is happening? What is happening, Naomi?
Thank you. Thank you for opening this up so widely and intimately. I think that's where I want to begin, because I am so grateful that this conversation is happening. Like, I am deeply moved. And I want to stay in that place, because I think what you're asking me and what I'm going to share feels so intimate and so personal to choices that I've made along the way with, and I won't even say with my children. I'm going to say what I have wanted to create. And so let me really share with those listening. About 6.5 years ago, my partner and I both made the choice to move to Hawaii and life school our children. So really, taking them out of the system and beginning to redefine ourselves as lifelong learners. And that comes intuitively and instinctually. And every step along the way, they've had choice. So to go back into the school system, I'm exploring that with my daughter right now, which is so beautiful, because it really is about, I think what's happening, Anne, is they are already living what we're talking about. So they are living life. And what I'm recognizing with my kids as they're 18 and 16 and coming to this stage that the world is saying, now you're entering into adulthood. There's a lot of external blueprints coming at them. There's a lot of external thoughts and ideas, fears, excitements coming at them from the world that, with all good intentions, loves them and wants to see them succeed. And what I'm realizing is one of my only roles right now is to really stay in the present moment with them, and to keep allowing them to see that they're already living life, they're already creating, they're already incredibly brilliant and unique in what it is that they are taking action in, moment to moment, day to day, and really keeping that as the bigger picture, so that as this definition of adulthood, you know, really rushes towards all of us right now, it's really for them to recognize the blueprint that is emerging from inside of them.
Yes.
That is so unique to them that, you know, with my son and my daughter, they have two different, entirely different blueprints for their future and this collective future that we're all creating together. And it's really stretching me right now, especially when they were young and we moved to Hawaii. I had a deep knowing at the time that they were to be raised by more than me as their human mother, more than the school system. They were to be raised by the elements, by this planet, by the ocean, by the things that are so already so deeply connected.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is what is right now this pivotal moment of they already have that connection. I think so many children in this generation that's up and coming, they have that connection.
Yes.
And
yes.
now, you know, it's a constant reminder and a constant teaching moment for me of, do I have that in this moment? Have I lost it for a moment, my own connection with myself? And so that is like the fundamental, that, you know, what we spoke about in our email, it's kind of like, that's the ground, that's the Gaia like expression of this planet. That is the foundation, that connection. And from there, there's emergence.
Yes.
There is the recognition that they're already living it. So how do I not, as a mother, become the obstacle with my own conditioning, my own that I'm still uncloaking a lot of what has been years and years of teaching in my life. But yet the knowing that I carry has been what I've given myself permission to follow. So I know that that's there, but it doesn't mean that there's not moments that I feel like I'm not perhaps the greatest support, because I have to take a moment to make sure I'm connected. If all of that kind of flows and makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. And I think, Naomi, this is part of the redefining mother, because I think that in the way that we've been modeled mother, it includes a lot of vigilance. And what I mean by that is that the mother protects, and if she needs to protect, it's because there's something to be feared, or there's something that's not quite, that she needs to control almost, right? And this vigilance that a lot of mothers we hold, which is that edge of disconnection you're talking about. You know, it's in moments of great forgetting, it's the edge of fear. It's the fear that I won't be what they need me to be. And that really knowing that in that moment they don't need us to be anything but trusting of that connection inside of ourselves, which energetically models that they can trust that connection inside of themselves as well. And I feel like we have hundreds and thousands of years of that energetic modeling around the role of the mother, and what's the right, what is the correct way to support. And there's so many mixed messages that we get from society, and that we get from our own ancestry, and that we get from our own past lives. And because what you describe is a deep trust in life with a capital L, as the teacher, as the guide, as the blueprint itself, you know, expressing and making itself known within each and every one of us. And that's a big shift. It's a massive shift. And I feel like the way you're talking about how you are with your children, it's almost like, what if we talk to each other like that as well? Like, what if it was a new lens to live, and to support the mothers as well around us?
I think that's a huge opening right there, because, you know, as I was getting, you know, the computer opened and ready to come onto this call, and my children beautifully took our 4 dogs, who would have like disrupted this entire conversation. And as they were going out the door, I was like, can I read to you what Anne wrote to me, like the intention behind what I'm doing? And so they stopped and they listened. And I said, you know, I can share all kinds of thoughts about what I'm observing, but I want to ask both of you, what's your input? Like, what is it what is the something different that you need? And it was really beautiful, because at first it was kind of like asking the fish, how's the water, right? It was this stop moment. And what struck me by what they both shared in their own way, and kind of what we've been going through lately, approaching adulthood, is they don't need to have the lens that I see through. They don't need to have the advice that I need to give myself a lot of times. What they need, and what they were able to express to me, they need to feel seen, and they need to feel heard in what it is that they know. That is different. That is a truth that all I can describe it as right now, and you might be able to really pull this down and flesh this out a little bit, is a very, very real truth. There's no protection in it. There's no ego in it. There's no, if I put more something behind it, I'm going to be more successful. It's like this very expression of themselves, and that is important for me, my partner, and the village around them to really listen to, for it to be recognized and witnessed. And I had a moment where I was like, but that's so simple. And then when I really leaned into it more for myself, I think even where I'm coming to in my own life, to be felt by another, to be seen, to be heard, but the underlying piece of that for me is, when I listen to my children, am I feeling myself in their presence? Am I feeling what they are so vulnerably sharing with me, without going right into a strategy, And I have to say, it was perfect timing. My dear friend this morning, in her insight, she realized that she's spent a life putting effort into everything. And she's recognizing that the next chapter of her life, it's not about effort. Life that we see on this planet around us isn't the amount of effort that's put in. It's the amount of organicness that it allows to just let life unfold, and to trust that and to feel that. I think that's what my children are asking right now, to feel the light that wants to come forth for them, wants to emerge, and wants to be witnessed.
And to be felt and heard and witnessed in the form, like before it's formed, actually, before it is something that can logically be explained to someone you need to explain it to, or just be with them in the knowing without content.
Thank you.
Yes. which which gives them that permission to trust it. Mm-hmm. And to know that it's valid, and to know that it's valuable, and whether or not it becomes something, that's not what matters. What matters is the strengthening of that trust. Yes. Of what moves through them.
And as you said that, it was such an experience for me to validate what it is that they're expressing, and that is energetic, is just as real as the form that it may or may not take.
Yes.
So that, I think, is the heart of it, Anne. Like that is because, in this world that's coming out of dormancy right now, as I walked my land this morning, the cherry blossoms are in bloom. Like spring is a real thing in Hawaii. It's not that it's just summer here all the time. And I had such an understanding that, we're coming out of this dormancy period and spring is here. It's almost like this generation is coming into the spring, and is really teaching us, allowing us to see what is coming out of dormancy, what is real, what is true, what is maybe what we haven't adjusted our eyes to see yet. So I think that coming out of a world view that, it's what is seen that is real, I think this generation is really saying, hear and feel this energetic, knowing presence, truth that is equally as real. And it doesn't have to be massaged and pushed and executed. It has to be recognized and trusted, and let the cycles that happen on this planet happen with that knowing, so that if something's not happening for a period of time, it doesn't mean that something is wrong. It means that we have to trust these rhythms that our children, I think, are coming into this world without it needing to be pushed down and cloaked.
Yes. It reminds me of a conversation I had with Olivier a couple months ago. He'd gone winter surfing, and it was a pretty intense morning. The waves were very big and they were chaotic. And when they came back, Paul and Olivier, I said, "How was it?" And Paul said, "Oh, it was great if you like nightmares." And I was like, "Oh my goodness, okay, so what happened?" So it was just really intense. The waves are chaotic and all that. And so I asked Olivier, I said, "Were you scared?" And he said, "Can you fear something you respect?" And I was like, "Who are you? What?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I said, what do you mean? He said, well, I talked to her. Like I know when, where my place is with her. And obviously it's not how he talks to his, high school friends all the time. And he has a couple friends who see, hear, feel, validate that different way of being, but it's not the way it is necessarily in public school, but it's clearly anchored in him, this communication, um, from Gaia, and the Gaia in him as well, in this knowing and this connection, and has words for it. Like that's leap and bounds from where we were.
Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah.
and so that's a filter through which they're building things. That's a completely different ground
Mhm.
on which to build this new world, that really values what you were talking about, this deep trust in the connection, because that would be really a non-logical, non even like human language experience that he would have had to trust enough to speak.
Mm. And what it makes me think of, and what's been forefront in my awareness lately, is that this generation, I mean, we've all been raised by Gaia. We've all been raised by this planet. And these children intuitively and instinctually know it. Whether they, it's like your son just has language for it. And it hasn't been taught. It hasn't been a course. It hasn't been even what us as parents have.
No, I've never said those words.
Right, exactly. And for many years, I didn't even understand that. I knew that the ocean was to raise my children just as much as me. I just had a knowing. It's like they have a knowing, and they are not only following it, they have language for it. Like what your son shared moves me so deeply, because it means that it's just happening. It's not
Yeah.
because we as humans are trying to make something happen. It's that
Mm-hmm.
the bigger picture of what we are interconnected with is communicating, and this generation is hearing it. They're hearing it. They
Mm-hmm.
don't have as
Mm-hmm.
many filters. They don't have as many um, notions around what it should all look like and the path that they should take. And so in so many ways, for us, as I'll speak for myself as a parent, I've had to really like lean into that, because I don't necessarily always have that trust. But when
Yeah.
I hear it in them, all of a sudden I know it in myself again.
Yes. Yeah.
And it has happened. It has already all happened.
Yes. Yes.
There's nothing to
Wow.
instill. There's nothing to um, teach. It really is now. Can I listen? Can
Yes.
I witness? Can I learn? Can I reactivate what it is that is waking up inside of me?
Yeah. See, so for me, this brings up this lifelong journey of kind of I don't want to say healing, but uh, integrating belonging,
Mm.
because it almost feels to me like that's the shift that's happening, that is required to happen for the mother, is that, and so I'm talking for myself, that if I don't remember in my body somebody being there
to protect me, to see me, to feel me, to hear me, then it's a no man's land in my cells to be it's not fully a no man's land. Like there's like a knowing, there's a connection, but there's it for me, it's an edge around belonging, because without that, all those things being felt, being heard, being validated, being witnessed, lets you know if you belong or not. If the way you express yourself, the way you know things, the way you feel, belongs in the group, and which obviously is the basis of safety for a child. And so if the need for belonging starts to disappear, but it's belonging to ourselves and belonging to the moment's experience that is deeply felt and deeply known, then there's a possibility of being that trusting witness for the people around us, our children, and everyone around us as well. And I just think about all the people in my life that came later after I was a child who reminded me that I knew that when I was with them, that exactly how I showed up belonged in the space and in the conversation and in the connection. And there's like a pivot, like a desire to be that. Yeah. For them and for myself.
So may I be bold, and may I introduce a new thought.
Yes. Please.
So as I listen, it's like there's such a recognition of what you speak of. And what has been really, really coming in strongly for me is what if, and this is like a beautiful curiosity of this, what if beyond the walls of the hospital and the humans that brought you into this world, that were the first form of recognition, and we expand that out to this planet, to Gaia, and that the moment we arrived, we were witnessed in our purest way. We were celebrated. We were loved for the immensity of our just showing up here on this planet. And that the ground underneath us, and the trees and the wind and the animals and the flowers, they all felt us when we arrived. And so that sense of belonging has always lived within us. This is coming full circle even for what my children were sharing with me earlier. They have been felt. They have been witnessed. And they have this, it's now like the humans in their world, we're recognizing that we have that ability too. Just like Gaia, we have that ability to be that witness, to be that celebration and that sacred witness to one another. And I think that what I feel waking up in this generation that is maybe just beginning to spark in us is that we too have always belonged. we too have always felt and known the communication to something so pure, so unconditional, and that is what's waking up inside the cells in each one of us as human, because we're not a separate species. We are interconnected to every plant, to every animal, to every blade of grass, to the atmosphere, to, we can go out and out. But I think that we chose to come here. We chose to come to this planet at this time. And this awakening that I feel and that I'm witnessing in my children is they know a belonging that is bigger than the human species. They know a witness that now they're asking us as parents, as humans, to come to know within ourselves so that we can see them truly for who they are.
And I think that is the primary role of the mother with a capital M, which is in all of us, that's rising even more, men and women, to be that deeply connected, witnessing, unconditional divine mother that has no opposites in the way that she loves, and therefore that ground just allows an acceleration in what's possible for each other and for our children. Because if that's the starting point, if that's the non-negotiable rule or presupposition to any creative endeavor or expression, unfoldment, manifestation, then it's like and it's not even this, the word acceleration feels so human. There's like an allowing that just makes things much easier and more graceful.
I love that. Yes.
And more easeful.
Yes.
As opposed to forcing and things being hard, which and then sometimes, maybe even wasting some time if the concerns are coming from that lack of trust.
And
I kind of want to name that presupposition, like I want to, so that it's like the number, it's the garden, right? Really, it's the garden for anything else.
And it was a number of months ago, I don't know how long ago, maybe 8 months ago, that I was really like on the edge of what was like, felt so much bigger than our human-centered story, and had no idea what any of it meant. And so I sat with my children and I said, same thing that I said to you, like, what if when you arrived, you have been raised by something so much greater than just me as your mother, that you have been celebrated for every single ounce of your time here, that your imperfections, that your, what we would describe as mistakes, or that all of it has been witnessed and has been really, you've been seen for who you really are from the very beginning. And so anytime I'm in, a limiting thought or a limiting experience, it was almost like this permission to go beyond me as mother, me as the one that is modeling, to Gaia, to this planet, to the absolute intelligence of a communication that doesn't, like you said, has no opposites. It has no judgment. It has no shame. It has no ridicule. And what I watched on my children's faces was just what they already knew, but now this permission that it was not disrespecting me. I have been but a small, important, beautiful part of a relationship in a family, but they know, and they have always been witnessed in their true essence, in their true nature. That has never gone away in the moments that I have not been connected to myself. It changed the entire relationship that I had with my children. And then I was like, okay, now I need to know more about this.
Yes. Yes. So it's this nothing's missing concept,
Right.
that even when you forget, nothing's actually missing. And we get kind of small, right, in our self-centeredness. Me, the mother. I am doing this.
Right. And what I love is it takes so much pressure off, Anne, for us to be these perfect, always evolved, connected. I am in my imperfection. And the more that I look to this planet, to the natural world, to Gaia, and I'm reminded I parent from a very different place, And I don't feel like all of this weight and pressure, and I can be very, very hard on myself in moments if I feel like I may not have been present enough or may have reacted to something. And then to take it out beyond myself to that recognition of, oh, even I have that mother that is bearing such sacred witness to me in that moment as well.
That's big. That's key for me. That's key for me, absolutely, because of there's it's almost like it's a very human need to turn toward the whole for the remembering that I belong, and I'm that what you just said, like it's very personal. Like this need to turn to that within myself that says you're witnessed. And everything belongs.
I just felt that through,
Yeah.
like I felt that in sisterhood, I felt that in mothering, I felt that in being mothered. What you just shared, I felt ripple out into every circle, every interconnection on this planet, and like so deeply that we can free ourselves as mothers, as human mothers, that and really reconnect to an essence of mothering and being mothered almost at the same time.
Yeah.
That we can, what my children were sharing with me this morning, it's like, oh my goodness, right, that is all that I require as well.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. And I am how is it, as I look out at this beautiful fruit tree in my yard and I witness its miraculousness, and things will die on it, things will grow, it will lose limbs, it will have all of these transformations, and I get to witness it in its exquisiteness, in what is organically happening. How could I not receive that back?
Yeah.
That this planet is witnessing us in our evolution, in our transformation, in our bumps, and in our storms. A big piece lately has been the essence of us can move through our bodies like this dew, this soft expression. And then there are times where there's storms. There's great storms that we navigate inside of ourselves. And I feel like with the children of this world, it's that recognition that these storms are necessary right now. Like I don't have this feeling like they want to stop the storms. There really is
No.
this recognition that storms clear the air, storms bring what has been dormant under the ground to life. They change the terrain and the landscape. And if we bring that inside to ourselves, that is all that's happening. It becomes such a safe way to be connected to this planet and ourselves at the same time.
Yes.
And to not hold it as something that's wrong that we need to stop.
Yes, and the unpredictability of it is sacred, because of the difference, between that mind and the logical mind. Like if we were able to wrap our intellect around the thread of this brilliance that's happening through the storms, it would blow up, and so I love that, because it's true. They're not jarred by it in the same way. They're not like, this is happening to me, boohoo, or how terrible it is. It's more of a capacity to walk alongside them. It's intelligent, I'm intelligent, we are intelligent. I'm here for it. I'm here with you. It's magical.
It's utter magic, and it's what they intuitively know. That what's so beautiful about the two of us having this conversation as a mother, or just as a witness, this could pertain to anybody. I now will have more capacity to trust and to recognize what they already know.
Yes.
And I will grow my own capacity to recognize what it is that I know.
Because what I'm learning is that how I am with them is really how I'm invited to be with everyone. And that's the biggest learning for me this year, is that it's not about them. It is, but it's not. It's really about this way, being the way for all of us. Like, I feel like we get to choose to jump in with them or not.
And I love how this has like really come full circle back around to choice. It's like, all I wanted for my children was for them to have choice. And I'm recognizing, as I'm hearing you in this moment, how brilliant. It was never about them. It was about, yes, it was about them, but really the core of it was having choice again for myself. and really choosing, like, where I can see this evolve into is like, there is a communication, and that we know intuitively is happening, and it's beyond perhaps the language that we're used to. I think it has language, but it comes from a different source. And by recognizing that they have already tapped into it, that they have been raised by this planet and recognize that and are finding language for that. Wow. What does that open up for us as mothers, as teachers, as, you name it. It's to begin to lean in more, and I don't even have language for it yet. You might have it, but it's this communication that we're talking about, that we're courageously willing to explore, because it really isn't, here's the blueprint and here's the formula and here is the logical reasoning for why we should explore this communication. And it's just happening.
Yeah. So if I know that I've been raised by the earth, by Gaia, by the mother, that I've been witnessed by, by her since the very beginning, there's a real unshakable vibration to my voice. And it's a clarity that is very, I don't even know how to describe it. It's almost like it's not pretentious, it's not humble, it's not magical, it's not special. It's just right. And there's a real realignment with the throat, for sure, because then there's absolute knowing that I create, that I'm the creator.
And we're really opening the door in this conversation widely to consider, if I have always been raised and celebrated and belonged and have been seen in my true essence, like right from the very beginning, what does that mean about our human trauma? What does that mean for our conditioning? That gets to fall away, that doesn't have to be wrestled with and reclaimed, because what you're speaking about, there is this presence, this clarity, this knowing that I'm witnessing in the younger generation, and really starting to know for myself that I don't have to go into all of that. I can simply come back home.
It's not hard work anymore, and it's not dramatic, and it's not traumatic. There's a lot of ease and grace, which is really, it's really taking the human control out of the equation.
It is.
And
so beautifully.
It was the way into it, but it's not the way forward. Like the way I can do this, yes, absolutely, reclaiming power. It's so important until, wait a second. It's never was mine to take. I was always that from deep inside my tailbone.
And I was always witnessed in that. Always witnessed. I can think of
I was never alone with it.
Never, ever alone.
I was never alone with it.
And I can think of a million things that fall away instantly now, you know, as my humanness gets to stay at the center, because I think that we are human. We're in these human bodies. This is what makes us a species unto ourselves. But that stays at the center. But we widen that in the most natural way to this entire planet that we have come to. And in that, we just know. We just have immediate permission to not have to struggle and not have to fear ourselves.
Oh, Naomi.
Oh, thank you.
It feels like an extension of, you know, the last time we spoke, I was like, if I'm not the rose, oh wait, I've always been the garden. It feels like an extension. Ah, yes, as the garden, as the earth that provides.
Literally, I have
What-
this breeze that's blowing in right now.
I
That is
see
just,
that.
wow.
I have noticed the leaves in the background start to rustle when you were talking and when we were like goosebumping. It's powerful.
We are this.
We are this.
We are this
Absolutely.
in
Yeah.
a human form, in an experience of life.
Mm. Thank you for feeling me, seeing me, witnessing me, and meeting me in that space of expression today. Naomi, it's always a blessing.
Thank you for opening and receiving and being willing to just be so comfortable, Anne, in the unknown, in that space that is so deeply known. And I look forward to continuing this as we have decided, in the most organic way, that without effort, without force, just when the call is there.
Me too. It's incredibly intelligent and it's an emerging blueprint. I'm excited to be on the adventure.
Me too. Thank you, my friend.
I love you.
I love you too.